Thank you very much. Okay, Bruce, do you want to come up and do item 11, the Housing Trust?
Thank you. So I need you all to really think about your role on this one. You need to channel your inner banker, because that is what you're making your decision as in this case. Council is a lender to OCHT, and we have certain requirements in our loan documents. One of them is that we approve any additional, any changes to the operation, and the creation of a subsidiary is one of those changes. So you need to not be councillors. You need to not be thinking about this from a housing perspective. You need to not be thinking about this from a CCO. Just think about it as a banker, and you're protecting our loans. So I'll leave it at that and open for any questions.
It always makes me nervous when you reference banks, Bruce. So just for my own sanity, you're still comfortable with the recommendation?
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. This is allowing OCHT to set up a company that can operate outside of Christchurch. The most likely activities of that company will be using their expertise to help other councils or not-for-profits build social housing. There will be no transfer of council resources, no transfer of ratepayer resources. We can be completely assured of all that.
Cool. Okay, that is great. I think Tim's got a question. Oh, sorry, Tim and then Pauline. Yep, sorry. Yeah.
Look, Bruce, thank you very much for the assurances you've given with regards to cost to our ratepayers. But as bankers, you know, the ratepayers have, you know, but this is an organisation that has totally been funded by us, technically the ratepayers, and I'm just wondering what the overheads and how they're covered, because I did ask with regards to the Greater Christchurch Partnership and others about this very same question about, because our ratepayers seem to be picking up, and I haven't, and the reason I say this because I haven't had the answer yet. Who's paying for the administrator of the Greater Christchurch Partnership? Right. And I asked that question because I haven't heard the answer, which I asked some time ago. So with this, who's paying for the? Sorry for the long-winded.
So looking at, I cannot answer the question about Greater Christchurch Partnership, which is not related to this, but yeah, OCHT effectively, well, it has one set of books, keeps two separate streams. One is the stream that relates to the leasehold properties from us, and one is the stream that relates to their other activities that are separate from council. And the overheads for this function would be covered through that. The revenue that would be gained would go through that that side of the books, and be any costs would come out of that side of the books. It would not affect council's side, and it wouldn't rely on any Christchurch ratepayer funding.
Yeah,
Pauline and then Melanie.
So, in the myriad of discussions along the journey to get to this point, there was a discussion of whether to set up a charitable trust or do a private bill. Now we're doing both, and I see you stated a charitable trust as a contingency.
Yeah.
So
I'll just explain why that is.
Yeah,
the bill has been prepared. It has gone through, and it's taken a reasonable period of time to go through the government's processes to get to the point where it can be lodged. It was meant to be lodged on December the 10th, but that has now been pushed back to February. Even once it is read for the first time, that first reading occurs in Parliament, there's still a 6 to 9 month process after that. So this is, if there's opportunities that come up in the meantime that are consistent with the intent that you've already approved and that is reflected in that private bill, here's an opportunity to be able to take it through a different structure.
So how long will setting up the charitable trust take, do you think?
For the charitable company, not very long at all. It's just a matter of lodging that with the company's office. All the documents are ready once we press go.
So the question is, why didn't they just go down that path in the first place, or do they still need the private bill change?
They still want to operate under the charitable trust rather than the charitable company, there is different tax treatments for those two, and it's those matters that are being considered there.
Okay.
Just two questions. First one is, will this affect the OCHT's core function and its principle for being set up as in delivering housing for ratepayers in Christchurch?
No.
Okay, and in the future, when they're setting up, it'll be good to see, looking at how that's going to be protected in the future, because as I see it, representing the ratepayers here, that I would like somehow in their documents that the priority is to the core, which are the ratepayers of Christchurch, because without that money being put in the first place, we wouldn't have this.
Yeah. What I'll do is I will pull out some of the excerpts from the private bill that will give you that assurance, because what it does is in the private bill does talk about operating elsewhere, but keeps that Christchurch and Banks Peninsula as the primacy.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're good. Everyone, Yanni?
Thank you. And I see that this basically is allowing for affordable home ownership products as well, which is really cool. So yeah, it just in terms of the other process, we're not going to make a submission to the first stage of it, but we could during the select committee process. Is that?
You could if you chose to. There is nothing in the proposed bill that I can see that we would want to submit on. It is entirely consistent with what we have talked about. I know you have an interest in whether the OCHT offers affordable home ownership products. We will provide advice on that, but at a high level, that relates to their charitable status and their tax status. They can only do a certain amount of activities that involve personal gain, and home ownership is seen as personal gain. Right. So they can only do up to, the benchmark that's generally used is 15% of the activity. Okay. So they work within that. But we'll bring, OCHT has got all the legal advice on that. Right. We're looking to how we can bring that through to you.
And so in regards to this company that's being set up, the charitable company, they can be more explicit about doing home ownership, affordable home ownership.
They could be, if that is an option. There's funding availability to be able to start that.
Great, thanks for clarifying that.
The underlying premises there, the private benefit element needs to be minimised to ensure that it's charitable for tax purposes.
Yes, exactly.
Yep, cool. Mel.
And the disadvantages about the increased financial risk, can you just outline a scenario where that could be a problem with that subsidiary and then OCHT and then us?
I think if you're applying your thinking as a banker, you would be looking at things like their financial covenants, their level of indebtedness, any indebtedness for the group, OCHT, and the company as well. Now, we've got a whole lot of protections in there that mean that is almost certainly not going to occur because of those protections. So we meet already on a quarterly basis, we review levels of debt, we review liquidity, we review forward plans. So we've got all that information, and that's not just the housing team. We actually bring in the accountants to help us with that and provide that advice. So yes, it is a risk, but extremely low risk because of all the existing controls that are in place.
So can I just clarify, Bruce, just for my own decision-making ability as a banker today, that feels good actually. No, I mean, so really all we're deciding is whether we're, there's effectively like, if the government go and they work through and change the private members bill goes through, which it sounds like everyone's agreed on anyway.
Yes.
This is only a temporary measure in terms of the charitable company if an opportunity crops up while they're waiting for that.
Yes.
So really, this is going to happen because the bill is likely to go through.
Yep.
It's just whether we want that middle bit.
Yeah, the flexibility. And the opportunities are arising. We know of another group in Christchurch who's getting that and is doing work in Nelson, they're doing work in Auckland, and they're doing work in Tauranga because they're able to do that. There's same opportunities. We know that there is potentially some land that's available in adjacent municipalities. We know that Marlborough, there's some opportunities. We want to give OCHG the chance to at least use their expertise to bid for that work.
Yep. All right, cool. Pauline? Yeah.
The membership, would that come from the existing board at OCHG? Or they set up new external members?
For their board, I do not
For the
know the
trust.
answer to that, but I suspect that it will be just appointees from that board will
Right,
become the board of directors for the new company.
Yeah.
Cool. So we're all good? Great. So I've got Jake's happy to move it and Tyler's happy to second it. Is there any discussion on this? All in favour? Against? So just note Aaron against that one. That's carried. Thank you very much, Bruce. That's cool. Okay,